Hello again, and welcome to another tutorial. And this time I will tell you how you can fix the oil on the aperture blades in an old Nikon Nikkor-N.C Auto 2.8, and it's a 24mm. So this old fellow actually has a problem. But we will first need some tools. Actually, a lens spinner is very handy. This is an adjustable compass, which I have filed and grinded the tip, so it can be used to work with cameras and lenses. Now, the famous rubber cone from Japan Hobby Tool is absolutely great. There are 6 different sizes with actually 12 different end with different size. We need some screwdrivers, flathead, nothing special. A 1.2mm. This is a brand called Vera. And this is a 2mm flathead. A no name, but a good quality actually. Some dentist tool is also very handy. In this case, it's a brand called Zenit. It's a Danish brand. Well, I don't know if they exist still, but I think. Some tweezers. This is a homemade tweezer, which is really good for putting in aperture blades because you can put them straight down, and so it's easy to file. Just have a normal tweezer which you can bend the tips and then actually filed with the needle file, so it has the shape, so it's as thinnest as possible. And I use a tool called Master Tool. I buy it in Germany, but you can maybe find it on the internet. Some cotton buds is very handy too. And of course some nail polish remover, especially the one with acetone. A blower is very fine, and also a measuring caliper is very handy. I've also already measured the parts we will see sooner. So and yes, of course, we need some cleaning fluid, which will be isopropyl alcohol 99%. So, yeah, let's jump into it and see what's actually wrong with this old fellow from 1967 or 68, I guess. I don't know exact of the number here. But the problem is with this lens is if we set it to something like 16. I mean, if we look through the lens, it looks pretty fine inside, also from here. But if we actually turn the aperture ring to something 16, what will happen? Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like an oil factory. So you can see there's really a lot of oil on the blades, so it will get the aperture not very good working, because it will be way too slow. It does not have this snappy, when you release, you push the this aperture pin, connection pin to the camera and push it, and when you release it, it should fall back to 16 fully closed, but it does not have this snappy. It's way too silent. So and of course, if you use this lens, I have tried, I will have overexposed pictures, so we need to come into it and fix it. This is a different lens because it has a system called CRC. It will say close range correction. So when turning the focusing ring, it will of course move the front part of the lens. Not really much, but much more happen on the back lens group, because you will see it has a lot of more movement. So therefore the two helicoid, the front and the back helicoid move in, let's say, in different speed. When you turn this one will go very slowly in and out, but not really much. And the other, it will say the back lens group, will move much more and much faster when moving the aperture ring. Well, it's just how I see it. Maybe you have another explanation, but of course it gives a very good pictures when you are at close, really close to something. It can go down to something 0.3, I will say something 30 centimeter, which will be pretty close and still have the same good quality of image. Now, let's get into it because we need to both take off the front ring, the front nameplate, the front this ring here, and of course the back here, and then we can go into it. So first I will actually take off the mount, which sits with the 5 screws and nothing really special. If they sit with something thread lock, we could actually just add some nail polish remover. It's really good for that. Just use a cotton bud and then dip the screw head on here and let it suck in and soften the thread lock, because then it will be quite easy to unscrew the 5 screws here. Of course, I have been into the lens before just to investigate what could be done, and I have set some marks around just to make it easier to show you how you should, how you could do this. And all screws are out. And then we can just do so. So, and now we can actually go into it, have a good grip on the lens here, and hold on to the aperture ring. Now take out the mount, which you can see there is a fork here. It will say the connection to the camera from the inside aperture system here. So this fork is actually connected to the pin down here. It will move the aperture. So if I set it to 16, I can actually move the aperture system. But I will take off the aperture ring too, because we do not really need that, and there's no need to have too many parts fooling around. So there is one screw on the side here we need to take out. It's actually connected to the internal ring here. As you can see, it's actually connected in here. So when you move it, it will move the ring, and is also connected to the inner lens assembly with this screw here. So let's take that out. It's pretty long, so there's no problem with that. Not fully unscrew. So it's a little special. There is a thread on the, half of the screw, and then the rest of it is they have make it smaller to go into the ring here. Now, for that ring, no problem. It's pretty dirty, so we'll probably do some cleaning. Now, the next thing is take care of the fully exposed back lens. And here we can much easier see what's happened inside of this CRC system. And I will take a closer look at it in the next video, because I would like to actually re-grease the focusing ring, because the focusing ring and the inside here, so there will be more of that. But we need to set it on infinity. It will say the position of the fork that is connected to the back focusing helicoid is actually pretty close to this one. If we go to the other end, it will say it's more far away. So put it there, and then you have a good starting point for that. Now, there is a little set screw here on the focusing ring itself, and there's a because this set screw is actually holding this ring here, not the very front, but the next that is connected to the focusing ring. So we just need to loosen it, just a few turns. No need to fully unscrew it. And now we need some sticky gloves. One of those working gloves. This is a X on or no OXO, depending. But it's flexible, basic 1006. But the point is, this rubber is extremely sticky, so it will make it a lot easier to actually unscrew this ring, and of course the next ring. So and here it is. Now, the next thing is that there could be, maybe in some lenses, there could sit a set screw here on the front ring. There could sit a small set screw in here. In this lens there wasn't any. And so it's quite easy to unscrew, but we need to unscrew the nameplate first. So, we could probably unscrew it here, but I will just still take off the nameplate. It gives more sense to show it in that way. So, with the rubber cone number 4 on the bigger end, just put it on so you can center it, and then have a good grip and unscrew it. so it is, and here it comes off. The reason I would like to put this, to take this ring out, is there is another set screw in here that's actually lock the ring in place. It would be something almost the same as this set screw could be used for, but they have just put it inside here. So by loosening this screw, don't forget to set a mark here somewhere. I set it here, and it could be different in your lens, but this is just how my lens has been, how I disassemble it. There are two holes, not two holes, but two notches that could be used to unscrew the front lens screw. But I put a mark here, so I know exactly where this set screw should sit when I assemble the ring again, and it's pretty close to the distance index here. So unscrew this tiny set screw, so something like that, just a few turns, and then you can unscrew it counterclockwise. And let's just count so no one get confused. It has to sit tight, but let's count how many turns it will go before it comes off. It should be something like 3 turns. So let's say 1, 2, 3, and 4. No, I forgot. It should be 4.5. So something like there, a bit over 4.5. So put it aside, and then I could actually take out the whole lens assembly, because the front ring here actually hold the front ring hold the whole lens assembly in place. So by actually unscrew the front ring, I could just pop the lens assembly in my hand. So I will do so. Just let it sit like there. We could just set it at infinity, so we have a good starting point for that. And just push out the lens assembly, and see, there is a tiny something like screw, but it isn't a screw. It's an adjustment. And on the other side there's also a notch, which is actually for the set screw here to sit on when you screw it in. So just pop it in your hand and it will come out. This is how it looks inside. And then we have the lens assembly. Now, to actually, before we move anything, we need to set a mark, which is really important. In this lens, they have actually put a mark here. I just put some arrows on, and I also put a more clear arrow here. Now this is quite important, because if you move this and you think, okay, where should it sit, and just unscrew it, If you do not set a mark, which is quite important, but what's even more important, this is the lens assembly on infinity. So to actually come back to the same length of the back helicoid, I need to measure how long is actually from this point here, it will say here, to the very back. So if I measure something like this, as you can see, I get a measure of 29.93, and you should actually have this almost same. Maybe there are some difference depending on how they have adjusted the lens, but it should be something like there. So, and if you want to take this out, you just turn it, but we do not need to do that in this case. Maybe, well, we'll see. I will also do another mark, which is quite important. Before moving the aperture, take out the 3 screws here around, one there, there, and the last one here. It holds one of the part in the aperture system. And before doing so, I will set a mark here. And because I've already been into it, set a mark on the, inside here, and also on the outside here, so they sit in line. So you know exactly, okay, this ring has to sit in correct position. Before take it out. There is no repair manual for this lens, so you need to actually know what you're doing. So that's why it is important to set marks. It's your only backup. Now, to take out the front lens group, which we need to do so before we can lift out the aperture system. Let's see. We need to have a lens tool or a compass, which you can also use for that. And we need to unscrew it. And the front lens has to be unscrewed 4.5 turn. Almost 4.5 turn till it comes off. And I just set a mark down here, which, I could also use this mark over here. Doesn't really matter. But since we will do it here, just use this mark here. So I should end up with the when I unscrew it, I will have the exact same position when I assembled it again. So we could just, where do I have a pen here? Just set a mark here, so we know where things should sit. And then have a good grip on it, and then unscrew it. So, and let's just count. That was the point with the mark. So I start here, which will be, I just loosen it. So, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost half a turn. So actually half a turn, and then I will actually set a mark down here when it comes off. And this is where it should come on the thread again. So actually now I know where things should sit. And here we actually have the whole front lens group. It looks pretty good. There's not really any mark on this, and the glass looks pretty good. So now we're actually looking into the aperture system and the plates in here. So if we set it to something 16, where did it go here? We can actually move it. So this is the pin that actually open and close the aperture if it was under the spring tension, but this pin will actually connect the camera to the aperture in here. So when you take a picture, it will so, but it's not really that fast. So now I'm actually ready to unscrew it, but before doing so, and just to be sure, when you put things in, it should be very important to actually set a mark down here. There's a little screw that holds one of the parts, but I also set a mark here. It will say on the ring and inside the tube, so I know exactly where it should sit. So, and it will say this mark down here, so we know that. So now I can take that out. It will say loosen, fully unscrew the 3 screws here, there, there, and there. And take care of the back lens. Where should it go? I could also take it out, but can just take this out. Move it a little, and then and the last screw. So there it is. And now it should be possible to actually take it out, but I need to actually lift it out. So I will use one of those extremely good rubber thingy. Place it somewhere here, there, and with my 2 dentist tool, lift it out. So I don't know how they do it in the repair shops, but this is quite good in most cases. So, and here we have it. Now this part here is actually the one that, when turning this part here on the side, this pin here, it will actually push on the aperture in here. So we can actually close it even more than it should. One of the pin you can see in here, which is one of the blades that is actually sitting there. The next thing is to do is actually move this ring out here, and we'll just set the aperture to fully open, so it's something like that. And then I can actually take out the inner ring here by unscrew this screw here on the side. It will say the ring that, the screw that moved the ring. So let's set it to there. But it's actually pretty tight, as when I reckon I was on when I was in. So I will simply add a little nail polish remover to this screw, just a little, because they have used some thread lock in here. Just a tiny amount, no need for using too much. Because I actually don't know if the blades are made of metal or they are made of plastic. So now it should be possible to unscrew this screw. No. It needs some more of this stuff. So there. And just let it sit a little, and then move the screw back and forth so you can easily unscrew it. You probably can see there is some white stuff beside the screw, and this is the old thread lock. Should be, I know it's not easy to see, but you can actually see it here. So and we can just get rid of it. So now, and then we can take that out, but be careful, because now the blades will actually be fully exposed. So we do this again with the trick. We're lifting out this ring, hopefully. So it comes out. And it looks pretty good. It's not really much oil. There are some trace of oil here, or grease, or whatever it is. So we need to actually clean it. So I will just put it into isopropyl alcohol and let it stay there a while. And also take out the ring in here, which I use my tweezer. So we can just fully open it. Should it be possible to do so? Yeah, it's really sticky. So I'll just fully open it. Maybe the blades will come out in one single go. Let's see if they are so sticky. So, but using a dentist tool, I can probably lift it out without any problem. Yeah, we can see here the blades are simply stuck to this ring, and when we put it in, we have some notches down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course there are 6 blades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they should just be put down there. But now we can just put it into the isopropyl alcohol and let them stay there. And now it's actually ready to be cleaned. But let's get back to the back lens group, because if you by accident, I should have mentioned it earlier, but well, if you want to take it out, set a starting mark here, and it will be necessary to actually set a mark somewhere where this back helicoid, back lens group, will come off the thread. And it's really important because it's a really tight fit on this one. So there is no what you say, you cannot go to website and see the result of, okay, I do turn it, how many turns and where should I put it on again. So, but we have to turn it, almost 1 1/4 from this point when it comes off. So I will turn it 1, and be careful, the lens will come off. In this case, it could be different in your lens, and around over here with this notch. So when I turn it, the mark here will tell me where it comes off. There. I have tried to put it on a few times, and it's really, so precise made, this helicoid. So you should be very careful when you put it on again. And if you by accident, okay, was it over here, or was it over here, or here? Yeah. Then you have to use the try and error. So, but we'll just take it off as it is. And now we actually have the lens here. I could also take off the inner lens here, but it's not really necessary to me. So I will just clean with some cotton buds and isopropyl alcohol. I'll just clean the inside here, which should be working really good. Just to get rid of the oil on the edge of this where the moving part is moving around in here. So it shouldn't be a problem. There could also be some on the very bottom of the of the inside here. So there. And then wipe away the trace of oil, and it should be fine again. So, and it looks much better. So this part is actually, done for this. So we could head off to the aperture plates and see how clean they will be, because it was really a lot of oil. And now this ring here, which was really bad. Just need to clean it. And also on the edge, where some oil could be sitting. And then now it looks as it was new. And then this ring will also need some cleaning, especially on one side where the plates is sitting. Really a lot of oil sits around here. So it is. Looks fine. And now the blades. We need to take a look at. I will just use my special tweezer, which is really good in this case. Oh, so come on, little fellow. So are the plates actually made of metal? Yes, it is made of metal. Just so we know that. Which is good. So take care of not bend the blades too much. So, and then they has to sit like, the orientation of the blades should be this when you put them in. And of course, actually you cannot put them in a wrong position, because it will simply not work. So therefore it's but just so you know it. So there. So, and now we are almost there. So, and the second one needs some so there, and it's fine for now. So we do not need the isopropyl alcohol for anything else. In this case, yeah, well, maybe in the aperture ring itself needs some cleaning, could be, but still. Now we head off to put the blades in. And see how good it will be. Take care of not touch the back, I mean the middle lens element. So therefore it's good to put it on something, a stand like this. So then we'll just add the blades in here. So you can see it's a good way of making this tweezer, because then you can just put the blades in here, sit like there, and we move around this way here. Just have to find the hole in here. Sometimes it's not easy. But you can see here there are some issues because it was not put in correct. Because I have to move the other way around. Something like that. So when I come to the last blade, I need to put to actually push the first blade I put in all the way out to the middle of the lens area, and then put in the last blade. So there, and the next, so we're almost there. So you can see it will, it looks like more than an aperture here. Oh, that was a tiny hair. So now, so how do we do with the last blade? Well, I will move the first blade, so the hole where the pin from the blades from the blade will be fully exposed, as you can see here, this hole here, and I will move it further out and then put in the blade. So it will sit something like, oh, sorry. So, and now it's just like this. And then I will just lift up the the first blade with a dentist tool, and at the same time hold here on one end and not scratch the lens element. So I will do so there. and align the blades so they should be have a round shape. Just a tiny hair, away with that. So now it actually looks pretty okay. So the next thing is I need to put in this ring here. And it can be a problem, but let's see how it will go. Try to use this tweezer. Not good. So put it something there, and hopefully it should be, oh gosh. There, and then put it in, hopefully. And you maybe have to align the ring after that, or the blades. So it should sit something like that. We're not done yet, but we are actually very close. So move the ring. You can see some of the blades are not in correct position. So they're almost there, and when the dentist tool I can sharp pointy end. I can align here, this one there, and the other blades. So the ring will fall in place when they are aligned correctly. So now they are actually correct line. So it should be possible to move that pin to close the aperture, and of course open it again. So now it works. The next thing is to put this ring in and put in the little screw. So let's see how it will go. I can probably use the little hole here and then put it in. Yeah, fine. Use a dentist tool, which is really good for that purpose. Will it not? So, and now it sits as it should. And I have my hole here for this ring. So I can simply add the little set screw here. Not a set screw really, but so it will be screwed in on the side here by holding on the ring. So you have a, oh, so there. See, wow, it moved a lot better than it was, not sticky. And then just tighten the screw gently. If you over tighten it, you could probably break the head here in two, and then you have a problem. So now you can actually move it. So next thing is to actually put this ring on again. And since I actually set a mark here in the very beginning before I took this out, I will know exactly where it should sit. So there's no problem with that. So by putting in this, it can be a little problem. So one need to push the little part in here away with the dentist tool or other tools. So there, and then we need some little push here, this part here, and then push it down and further down. And there. You see, it should sit out like there, so it should fully move, and then push it into correct place. We need to move it a little. Oh, there's a tiny hair in here. And this ring should sit correct with the 3 screws around here. So I need to put them in again. And this here. So just screw them in, not fully tighten them yet. Because we have to align them. I mean, align the ring, of course. Just put them in as the ring will not fall out. So. And catch the thread can sometimes be a problem with this very fine thread. So now we have them in, all of them, and then I have a mark here which I set in the beginning, so the ring should sit correct when I align it. Let's see here. It was just put in too long. There. This one. And also this one here. So now it should be easy to align now because it's loose. So one have to align it. See the mark, and now it's in line. And gently tighten the screws. And you might think, okay, you have to use some kind of thread lock. Yeah, I could really, but to me it's not necessary. I could use some thread lock, but not on the thread. I would actually just need a piece of paper. Just a little. And then add a tiny amount of thread lock here on the side, which will, when they are dry, it will keep the screw from moving. I could also have used some nail polish, just ordinary, nothing, doesn't have to be something expensive. So, and now it should work for that. So let's see, it will work if I fully close it. Everything will work really good. So what I need now is actually to put in the back lens group, and it can be a little tricky to actually put in because of the very fine thread. But since I have a mark here, when the thread come off, I simply need to put it on here, and you have to fiddle a little with it because it can be a little tricky to put on. There. And was it the right thread? Let's see. Not really. Comes off there. But it was a little after that point. So there. So you can see, no, it's not the correct thread I catched. It was not correct, so it was the thread after that. So this is why it actually is so important to set a mark when it comes off. And then we go up to here. So now it should be really good. The exact same position. I just forgot to have the quarter turn. So, but it's up to here, and it will say 1 revolution, and then 1/4. Okay, we just put it on again. See, so so this is 1/4 and then 1/4, and then we're done. As it should. 29.93. So now I'm ready to put it in to the focusing helicoid. Well, I could actually put in the front lens group, and since I have a mark when it comes off. Where did it go? Like there. Just so we have things in correct place. So this is the place where it comes off, and then let's see, comes there, and half a turn, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then tighten it so it sits good, and then it's ready to put in. And so we fully close it, set the mark here, align the lens, and it says on infinity, and then I can put in the lens to the helicoid. This screw, not screw, it's an adjustment, eccentric, has to sit here. So I could just put it in here, hopefully to catch the things in here. It was not correct. This one has to sit up there. And it's sit here, and so we come in there. The pin for the back helicoid, and also the pin for the aperture comes in. Maybe we have to move it a little, bit over more. And then have the adjustment thing there, then put it in. Now then we need to put on the front ring and it comes off here somewhere, and then just put it in. I have my mark here, so it will go there. Then tighten this screw, and it sits correct. Then the outer ring here, don't know what it calls, but it's connected to the focusing ring. Catch the thread, then put it in, tighten it, and also tighten the little set screw here on the side. So now then we can actually, well, I will put the nameplate on later. Then I can just put in the aperture ring, and of course the little hole here will be the hole here for the little screw. So we just need to put it on here and make some movement. Then find the little hole here, put it all the way over here, and hopefully catch the little screw here. And where did it go here? So you can see. And now it's correct. So things seems to get back to work. And then I can put in the mount. The fork goes in here. It will catch the pin in here. Then align the holes on the mount. Let's see if it will work. Wow, that's good. Then put in the small screws. Of course I need to align them a little. And they are non-magnetic, so there. And the last two screws. And then we have a fully working aperture in this old but really good lens. There. I could have used some thread lock on the screws here on the mount, but I will probably go into the lens again, of course, for cleaning the helicoid and re-lube, but for now it's fine. Then put on the nameplate and use a too big rubber tool and tighten it. So now we are actually back on track. So before we could actually not move it, but now it should work as it should without any oil on the blades. So that's pretty good. So I hope you enjoy the content of this old fellow and can use it to probably repair your lens. It's not that easy, it's not that hard, but take care of the back helicoid and set marks where things come apart. It's important. So that's all for me from now. So bye bye.